Please remember, the information in this presentation is for educational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have seen in this video. You've spent hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars. You've tried keto, paleo, intermittent fasting, you've counted every calorie until you were blue in the face. You bought the meal prep containers, you drank the celery juice, you did the burpees. And yet, here you are, right back where you started, or maybe even a few pounds heavier, feeling frustrated, defeated, and completely burnt out. If that sounds familiar, you are not alone. In fact, that is the story for the vast majority of Americans who try to lose weight. It's a brutal cycle. And in that moment of desperation, you think, I can't do this by myself. I need help. I need a coach. So you open up Instagram, you do a Google search, and you're immediately flooded with 1,000 smiling faces. Fitness gurus with perfect abs, wellness coaches promising to transform your life, nutrition experts with incredible before and after photos. They all seem so confident, so knowledgeable. They promise you the secret, the one thing you've been missing. And for a few hundred or even a few $1,000s, they'll share it with you. But here's the terrifying truth that no one is talking about. The vast majority of these so-called coaches are completely unqualified to give you advice. Some of their advice isn't just ineffective, it's downright dangerous. Hiring the wrong coach won't just drain your bank account. It can wreck your metabolism, destroy your relationship with food, and leave you more hopeless than when you started. That's why I made this video. I'm tired of seeing good people with real goals get taken advantage of. This isn't just another video with vague tips. This is a tactical, step-by-step checklist. This is your shield. By the end of this presentation, you will have a foolproof system to cut through the noise, identify the charlatans, and find a genuinely qualified, effective weight loss coach in the United States who can actually help you achieve lasting results. We're going to save you time, save you money, and most importantly, save you from the physical and emotional damage of bad advice. So where do you even begin? Before you pull out your credit card for that life-changing program, you need to understand the battlefield. Because right now, the health and weight loss coaching industry in America is the Wild West. There are very few regulations. Almost anyone can take a weekend online course, or in some cases no course at all, print a fancy certificate on their home computer, create a slick-looking website, and call themselves a coach. They can charge you hundreds of dollars a month for advice they cobbled together from a blog post they read yesterday. Think about that. You wouldn't let a plumber who learned his trade from a 5-minute YouTube video rebuild your entire house, would you? So why would you let someone with no verifiable expertise rebuild your body and your health? The stakes are infinitely higher. This lack of regulation has created a massive gap between people who desperately need help and the few professionals who are actually qualified to give it. And into that gap have flooded thousands of marketers, influencers, and salespeople disguised as coaches. Their primary skill isn't anatomy, biology, or psychology. It's marketing. They know your pain points. They know you're tired of failing. They know you want a quick fix. And they are masters at selling you the dream, even if it's built on a foundation of nonsense. That's why the very first step in our checklist isn't about finding the good guys. It's about understanding the different players on the field, so you can immediately spot the amateurs. Let's break down the landscape. You'll see a lot of different titles thrown around. Let's clarify what they actually mean because the difference is critical. First, you have the gold standard for nutrition advice, the registered dietitian or RD. You might also see RDN, which means registered dietitian nutritionist. These titles are legally protected. To become an RD, a person needs a bachelor's degree in nutrition from an accredited university. They have to complete 1,000+ hours in a supervised internship, and they have to pass a national board exam. They are the only professionals who can legally provide what's called medical nutrition therapy, which means they can create nutrition plans to treat medical conditions like diabetes or heart disease. If you have complex health issues, an RD is often the best choice. They are the real deal. Next, you have the title nutritionist. This is where it gets incredibly tricky. In some states like Florida or Texas, this title is unregulated. Literally anyone can call themselves a nutritionist, regardless of their education. In other states like Washington or Maryland, the term is protected and requires specific licenses or certifications. So if someone calls themselves a nutritionist, your first question should be, what are the laws in my state? And your second should be, what specific degree or certification do you hold? Don't ever take that title at face value. Then we have certified personal trainers or CPTs. These are the experts in exercise. A good CPT from a reputable organization like the National Academy of Sports Medicine or the American Council on Exercise has a deep understanding of human movement, anatomy, and program design. They are essential for helping you get strong, build muscle, and move your body safely and effectively. However, their primary scope of practice is fitness, not food. While they can give general healthy eating advice like eat more vegetables, they are not qualified to prescribe specific, detailed meal plans or give advice on supplements. If your trainer is trying to sell you a complex diet plan, that's a major red flag. Finally, we have the broadest and most confusing category, the health coach or wellness coach. This is where the Wild West is wildest. There are hundreds of different health coaching certifications out there. Some are fantastic, evidence-based programs that take months or even years to complete and require a deep understanding of behavioral psychology. These coaches are experts in helping you build sustainable habits. But there are also certifications you can get online in a single weekend for $99. The quality is all over the map. This is why, for anyone calling themselves a coach, you have to dig deeper. You have to vet their specific certification, not just the title. And of course, we have the influencer coach. This person's main qualification is their own transformation story and a large social media following. They might look the part, but a personal story is not a substitute for a professional education in the complexities of human metabolism and psychology. What worked for them might not work for you and could even be harmful. Okay, now that you know who's who, we can establish our first line of defense. Before you even look at a coach's success stories or their pricing, you need to screen them for these 5 non-negotiable, instant deal-breaker red flags. If you see even one of these, you don't walk away. You run. Red flag number 1. They promise or guarantee results. Lose 30 pounds in 30 days guaranteed. Sounds great, right? It's a lie. It's also unethical. The human body is a complex biological system, not a machine. No legitimate professional can guarantee a specific outcome because they can't control your genetics, your lifestyle, your stress levels, or your adherence. Promises are a classic high-pressure sales tactic used by people who are selling a product, not a professional service. Real coaches talk about possibilities and averages, not guarantees. Red flag number 2. Their solution revolves around selling you expensive, proprietary supplements, powders, or detox teas. A qualified coach's main tools are education, behavioral change, and a food-first philosophy. If their first move is to get you to buy a $150 tub of fat-burning protein powder that you can only buy from them, they're not a coach. They're a supplement salesperson in a coach's costume. Their primary interest is their commission, not your health. Red flag number 3. They offer a one-size-fits-all program. You see this everywhere. You pay, and they immediately email you a generic PDF with a cookie-cutter meal plan and a list of exercises. True coaching is deeply personal. A great coach will start with a comprehensive assessment of your health history, your lifestyle, your eating habits, your goals, and your psychological relationship with food. If they're giving you a plan before they know you, that plan is not for you. Red flag number 4. Vague or unverifiable credentials. Their website says they're a certified nutrition expert, but doesn't say who certified them or when. You should be able to go to the website of the certifying organization, like the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics for an RD, or NASM for a trainer, and verify their credentials in less than a minute. If you can't, or if they're cagey about providing that information, it's a massive red flag. They are hiding something. And red flag number 5. Extreme high-pressure sales tactics. This offer is only good for the next 10 minutes. I only have 2 spots left and 5 other people are interested, so you need to decide right now. Legitimate, in-demand professionals do not need to do this. Their results and reputation speak for themselves. This kind of manufactured urgency is designed to override your critical thinking and get you to make an emotional decision. Don't fall for it. A professional will give you the space and information you need to make a clear, informed choice. And this brings us to the very first, non-negotiable item on our checklist for finding a qualified coach: credentials. I know it sounds boring. Sounds like academic gatekeeping. But I promise you, understanding this one piece can save you thousands of dollars, months of wasted effort, and a world of physical and emotional pain. Let's be honest, in the age of social media, anyone with a six-pack and a smartphone can call themselves a coach. They can post a dramatic before and after photo, which may or may not even be theirs, and suddenly they're an expert. They sell you on their story, their charisma, their transformation. But a story is not a strategy, and charisma is not a qualification. Think about it this way: if you needed complex surgery, would you hire the guy who successfully operated on himself in his garage one time? Or would you go to a board-certified surgeon who spent a decade learning the intricate systems of the human body? The stakes with weight loss coaching aren't as immediately life or death, but the principle is the same. You are entrusting someone with your most valuable asset: your health. Your body is an incredibly complex system of hormones, metabolic processes, and psychological drivers. A coach who doesn't understand this foundation is like a mechanic who only knows how to change a tire trying to rebuild your car's engine. They might get one thing right by chance, but they're far more likely to do serious lasting damage. So what do real qualifications look like? They generally fall into two main categories: formal education and professional certifications. Let's start with education. A coach with a bachelor's or master's degree in a related field, like nutrition, dietetics, exercise science, or kinesiology, has a massive advantage. This isn't just about a piece of paper. It's about years spent in a rigorous, structured environment learning the scientific bedrock of how the body works. They've studied biochemistry, anatomy, physiology. They've learned how to read and interpret scientific research, separating legitimate studies from pop science nonsense. This background gives them the ability to understand the why behind their recommendations. They're not just repeating something they heard on a podcast. They're building a plan for you based on established scientific principles. A registered dietitian, or RD, is the gold standard here for nutrition. This is a legally protected title that requires a specific degree, a supervised internship of over 1,000 hours, and passing a national exam. If someone is calling themselves a nutritionist, that title isn't protected in most states. It could mean anything. But a registered dietitian? That's a credential with serious weight behind it. Now, let's talk about certifications, because this is where the water gets incredibly muddy. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of coaching certifications out there. Some are fantastic. Others are little more than a weekend online course and a multiple-choice quiz you can't fail. The secret to telling them apart is one simple acronym: NCCA. That stands for the National Commission for Certifying Agencies. The NCCA is an independent, third-party organization that accredits certification programs that meet their high standards for professional practice. They ensure the exam is fair, legally defensible, and actually tests for competency. It's the same body that accredits programs for nurses, respiratory therapists, and other healthcare professionals. If a coach's certification is NCCA-accredited, you know it's legitimate. So what are you looking for? For personal training, look for names like ACSM, American College of Sports Medicine, NASM, National Academy of Sports Medicine, or ACE, American Council on Exercise. For nutrition coaching, something like Precision Nutrition (PN) is highly respected. For a more holistic approach to behavior change, a National Board Certified Health and Wellness Coach (NBCHWC) has gone through an incredibly rigorous process. A coach who has invested the time, money, and significant effort required to earn one of these credentials is showing you they are serious about their profession. Contrast that with a certified transformational specialist certificate they got from a guru's online course for $99. One is a profession, the other is a hobby, and you don't want your health in the hands of a hobbyist. Let me tell you a story about two people. We'll call them Coach A and Coach B. Coach A has an incredible Instagram feed. He's ripped, he's charismatic, and his bio says, CEO of Body Transformation. His only credential is his own personal story of losing 50 pounds. Let's say a client, we'll call her Sarah, hires him. On day one, Coach A sends Sarah a generic meal plan he gives to all his female clients: 1,200 calories, no carbs after 6 p.m., and a workout plan that involves an hour of high-intensity cardio every single day. Sarah is exhausted. She's starving. She pushes through for 3 weeks, loses a few pounds, but feels absolutely miserable. One day, during her mandated hour of burpees, she feels a sharp pain in her lower back. She tells Coach A and he replies, "Pain is weakness leaving the body. Push through it." Sarah ends up with a herniated disc and quits the program, feeling like a complete failure. She not only didn't reach her goal, she's now in chronic pain and feels worse about herself than when she started. Now let's look at Coach B. Her name is Emily. Emily has a master's degree in exercise physiology and is a National Board Certified Health and Wellness Coach. Her Instagram isn't as flashy, but it's full of helpful, evidence-based advice. When Sarah, after recovering from her injury, decides to try again with Emily, the experience is completely different. The first session isn't about workouts or meal plans. It's an hour-long conversation. Emily asks about Sarah's health history, her previous back injury, her work schedule, her stress levels, her relationship with food, and what has and hasn't worked for her in the past. Instead of handing her a rigid plan, Emily works with Sarah to co-create a strategy. They start with small, manageable habits, like adding a source of protein to her breakfast and going for a 20-minute walk on her lunch break. For exercise, Emily designs a program focused on strengthening Sarah's core and glutes to protect her back, starting with just 2 resistance training sessions a week. When Sarah has a stressful week at work and overeats, Emily doesn't shame her. Instead, she helps her identify the triggers and brainstorm non-food coping mechanisms for the future. The process is slower, but it's sustainable. Sarah not only loses weight, but she builds strength, heals her relationship with food, and gains a profound sense of confidence and self-efficacy. She's not just following a plan. She's learning the skills to manage her own health for the rest of her life. Coach A sold a quick fix. Coach B provided a real education. Coach A relied on shame and platitudes. Coach B used science and empathy. The difference wasn't their charisma or their follower count. It was their credentials. It was the foundational knowledge that allowed one to see Sarah as a unique individual with a complex physiology and psychology, while the other saw her as just another body to plug into a broken formula. So, your first piece of homework is simple. When you're vetting a potential coach, become a detective. Go to their website. Is there an About Me or Credentials page? Do they clearly list their degrees and certifications? If they list a certification, take 30 seconds to Google it. Is it NCCA-accredited? If you can't find this information easily, that's a red flag. A true professional is proud of their qualifications and will display them transparently. And don't ever be afraid to ask directly. A simple email saying, "Hi, I'm interested in your coaching. Could you tell me a bit about your educational background and certifications?" is a perfectly reasonable request. If they get defensive, evasive, or try to wow you with their personal story instead of answering the question directly, you have your answer. Run. Your health is too important to be a guinea pig in someone else's unqualified experiment. Finding a coach with a solid, verifiable, science-backed foundation is the first and most critical step in ensuring your journey is safe, effective, and built to last. So how do you find that foundation? What's the difference between a rock-solid expert and someone building their advice on sand? Comes down to one word: credentials. But in the Wild West of the wellness industry, that single word can be an absolute minefield. It's a world where a weekend online course can grant someone the title of Nutritionist, allowing them to stand shoulder to shoulder with someone who has a master's degree and thousands of hours of clinical training. To you, the consumer, they can look almost identical. They both have a professional-looking website. They both have testimonials. They both talk a good game on social media. But one is a licensed architect, and the other is just someone who likes to sketch houses in a notebook. Trusting the wrong one can lead to a structure that collapses. Let's talk about a woman we'll call Jessica. Jessica was 38, a mother of 2, and she was tired of feeling tired. She wanted to lose 30 pounds, not just to look better, but to have the energy to keep up with her kids. She went online and found a coach. Let's call him Coach Mike. Mike had incredible abs, thousands of followers, and his page was filled with dramatic before and after photos. He seemed perfect. He sold her a 12-week transformation package for $1,000. His first instruction? A meal plan that was identical to the one he gave every single one of his clients. It was 1,200 calories, extremely low carb, and involved a list of good foods and bad foods. There was no discussion of Jessica's medical history, her relationship with food, or her sky-high stress levels. It was just the plan. Jessica's story is a cautionary tale we'll come back to, because it perfectly illustrates the stakes. The first and most important item on your checklist is to understand the hierarchy of qualifications. At the very top, the undeniable gold standard in nutrition is the registered dietitian or RD. You might also see the credential RDN for registered dietitian nutritionist. They mean the same thing. Becoming an RD is not easy. It requires a bachelor's or master's degree in nutrition from a specifically accredited university, completing a grueling 1,200-hour supervised internship in hospitals, clinics, and community settings, and then passing a national board exam. They are legally recognized healthcare professionals who are trained in clinical nutrition, capable of providing what's called medical nutrition therapy. This means they can legally and safely design nutrition plans to help manage and treat medical conditions like diabetes, heart disease, kidney issues, and complex autoimmune disorders. Now, here's the critical distinction that trips everyone up. The term nutritionist is, in most states, completely unregulated. I could finish this video, go print a business card that says world-renowned nutritionist. And legally, in many places, there's nothing stopping me. Some nutritionists have extensive education, like a PhD in nutritional science. Others have literally zero formal education and just really like kale. A registered dietitian is always a nutritionist, but a nutritionist is very rarely a registered dietitian. So your first checklist question shouldn't be, are you a nutritionist? It should be, are you a registered dietitian? If you have any underlying health conditions, or suspect you might, starting with an RD is the safest, most effective route. Period. Alongside RDs at the top of this pyramid, especially for weight loss, are medical doctors, MDs, or doctors of osteopathic medicine, DOs, who are board certified in obesity medicine. These are physicians who have undergone specialized training and certification, focused specifically on the complex science of weight management. They understand the hormonal, metabolic, and psychological factors at play on a level that most other practitioners simply don't. They can prescribe medications, order advanced blood work, and manage the entire medical side of your journey. An MD specializing in obesity medicine is your command-in-chief if your weight loss journey is intertwined with significant health challenges. But what if your needs are less clinical? What if you're generally healthy and you need guidance on fitness, accountability, and building better habits? This is where the next tier of professionals comes in. Certified personal trainers and certified health coaches. And this is where we run into that same Wild West problem. There are hundreds of certifications out there. Some are weekend online courses with an open book test. Others are rigorous, comprehensive programs built on decades of exercise science. So how do you tell the difference? You look for one simple thing: NCCA accreditation, the National Commission for Certifying Agencies. This is the gold standard accrediting body for fitness and wellness credentials. It means the organization has been vetted by a third party and meets the highest standards for its examination and certification process. When you're looking for a personal trainer, you want to see certifications from powerhouse NCCA-accredited organizations. The Big Four, the ones universally respected in the industry, are NASM, National Academy of Sports Medicine, AC, the American Council on Exercise, ACSM, American College of Sports Medicine, and the NSCA, National Strength and Conditioning Association. If a trainer certification comes from one of these, you know they've been tested on fundamental anatomy, physiology, and program design at a serious level. Similarly, for health and wellness coaches, the pinnacle is becoming a National Board Certified Health and Wellness Coach, or NBHWC. This is a collaboration with the National Board of Medical Examiners, the same people who certify physicians. It's a big deal. It signifies that the coach has been trained extensively in coaching psychology, motivational interviewing, and the science of behavior change. This brings us to the next, and arguably one of the most important concepts you need to understand: scope of practice. This is the legal and ethical boundary that defines what a professional is and is not allowed to do based on their specific credentials. And this is where Jessica's story takes a dark turn. After 2 weeks on Coach Mike's 1,200 calorie plan, she was exhausted, irritable, and so hungry she couldn't focus at work. Her hair was starting to fall out. When she told Mike, he said, "Your body is just in detox mode. You have to push through it. Also, buy my brand of fat-burning supplements." Mike, the personal trainer with a weekend certification, was playing doctor. He was prescribing a restrictive diet and supplements to fix a problem without any medical assessment. He was operating far outside his scope of practice. A qualified NCCA-certified personal trainer can and should give you general nutrition guidance. They can educate you on the importance of protein, show you what a healthy plate looks like, and help you strategize meal prep. That is education. What they cannot do is give you a specific, prescriptive meal plan with exact calorie and macronutrient targets, especially to treat a medical condition. That is prescription. That is the job of a registered dietitian or a doctor. A trainer can't tell you to take certain supplements to fix your thyroid. A health coach can't diagnose your anxiety. Crossing these lines isn't just unethical, it's dangerous. A great coach knows what they don't know. A great coach has a network of RDs and doctors they can refer you to when your needs go beyond their scope. A bad coach thinks they can do it all. The biggest red flag is the person who claims to be an expert in everything. So let's turn this into your actionable checklist. When you first talk to a potential coach, you need to be an investigator. Your first question: what are your specific credentials? Don't accept vague answers like, "I'm a certified nutritionist." Dig deeper. Your second question, the follow-up: are you a registered dietitian, a board-certified physician, or do you hold a primary certification from an NCCA-accredited organization like NASM, ACE, ACSM, or the NSCA? If they get defensive or don't know what NCCA accreditation is, that's a massive red flag. And your third question, the crucial one: can you please explain your scope of practice when it comes to providing nutritional advice? Listen carefully to their answer. A great coach will answer with confidence and clarity. "I can provide general nutritional education and guidance, but for specific meal plans or to address any medical issues, I would refer you to a registered dietitian." That is the answer of a true professional who respects your health and their own ethical boundaries. Verifying these credentials is your first line of defense. It's the step that separates the architects from the sketchers. It ensures that the person you're entrusting with your health has, at a minimum, a foundational understanding of the human body and is committed to a code of professional ethics. But a certificate on the wall doesn't automatically make them the right coach for you. A degree in nutrition doesn't guarantee they understand the struggles of a 45-year-old working mom with a thyroid condition. And that brings us to our next critical checkpoint: experience. Not just years in the game, but the right kind of experience. So, what is the right kind of experience? It's not about the number of years they've been a coach. A coach who's been in business for 10 years but has only ever trained 22-year-old athletes for a photo shoot is not the right coach for a 52-year-old perimenopausal woman who's struggling with insulin resistance and emotional eating. It's like hiring a Formula One mechanic to fix your family minivan. Sure, they both work on engines, but the context, the problems, the entire system is fundamentally different. The first filter for experience is simple: demographics. Go to their website. Look at their social media. Who are they featuring in their testimonials? Who are their success stories? Do you see yourself in those pictures? Do you read their stories and think, "That's me. That's my life"? If their entire Instagram feed is filled with shredded 20-somethings flexing in perfect lighting, and you're a 48-year-old father of 3 with high blood pressure and a stressful job, there's a potential mismatch. It doesn't mean they're a bad coach. It just means they might not be the right coach for you. Their expertise, their language, their entire frame of reference might be tailored to a completely different person with a completely different set of biological and lifestyle challenges. You need a coach who speaks your language, who understands that meal prep isn't just a trendy hashtag. It's a logistical nightmare you have to fit in between soccer practice, a conference call, and helping with homework. This leads to the second, and arguably most important, filter: problem-specific experience. Weight gain is a symptom, not the disease. The underlying cause is what matters. A qualified coach, the right coach, is a specialist. They are a detective who knows what clues to look for. You wouldn't go to a foot doctor for a heart problem. So why would you go to a generic weight loss coach if you have a specific, complex condition driving your weight gain? This is where you need to become an interrogator. During your consultation call, you need to ask pointed, specific questions about your unique situation. Let's run through some scenarios. If you have a thyroid condition like Hashimoto's or hypothyroidism, you need to ask, can you explain how you modify nutrition and exercise recommendations for someone with a compromised thyroid? What's your experience with clients who struggle with fatigue, brain fog, and a sluggish metabolism due to their thyroid? How do you track progress when the scale might not move for weeks at a time because of hormonal fluctuations? A generic answer like, "Oh, we just eat less and move more," is a massive red flag. A knowledgeable coach will talk about managing inflammation, the importance of specific nutrients like selenium and iodine, and strategies for gentle exercise that don't further tax your adrenal system. If you suspect you have or have been diagnosed with POS or insulin resistance, your question should be, what is your nutritional philosophy for managing insulin resistance? Do you have experience helping clients reverse prediabetes? Can you show me case studies of women with POS you've worked with? How do you approach exercise when intense cardio can sometimes spike cortisol and worsen symptoms? The right coach will immediately start talking about blood sugar balance, strategic carbohydrate intake, the role of fiber and protein, and the benefits of strength training for improving insulin sensitivity. They won't just give you a low-calorie meal plan. For the emotional eaters and binge eaters out there, this is critical. You must ask, what are your specific strategies and tools for dealing with emotional eating? How do you help a client differentiate between physical hunger and emotional hunger? What is your protocol for when a client has a binge episode? Do you have training in cognitive behavioral techniques or other psychological approaches to food? If their only answer is, you just need more willpower, hang up the phone. That is a coach who fundamentally does not understand the neuropsychology of binge eating. A great coach will talk about pattern recognition, stress management techniques, creating non-food coping mechanisms, and building a compassionate, non-judgmental framework for recovery. They understand that a binge is not a moral failing. It's a signal of an unmet need. And for postpartum moms, ask, how do you tailor your programs for a breastfeeding mother's nutritional needs? What's your approach to rebuilding core strength and addressing issues like diastasis recti? How do you help clients navigate the exhaustion and time constraints of having a newborn while still making progress? The right coach will prioritize healing and nourishment over rapid weight loss. They'll understand the unique hormonal landscape of the postpartum period and build a program that is realistic, supportive, and safe. Now there's a debate in the coaching world. Does a coach need to have personally gone through a major weight loss transformation themselves to be effective? This is a nuanced question. On one hand, a coach who has lost 100 pounds themselves possesses a level of empathy that is almost impossible to teach. They know what it feels like to be the biggest person in the room. They understand the shame of ordering a salad in public while secretly wanting the burger. They felt the frustration of a weight loss plateau that lasts for a month. They fought the same mental battles you're fighting. That shared experience can build an incredibly powerful bond and a deep level of trust. It's the "I've been in the trenches, I know the way out" factor. However, on the other hand, the world's best cancer surgeon has likely never had cancer. An Olympic swimming coach might not be as fast as the athletes they train. Expertise is not solely defined by personal experience. A coach with a deep understanding of physiology, endocrinology, and behavioral psychology can be exceptionally effective without ever having been obese themselves. Their strength lies in their objective, scientific knowledge and their ability to see your situation without the emotional baggage of their own past journey. So what's the verdict? I believe personal transformation experience is a massive bonus, but it's not a non-negotiable requirement. What is a non-negotiable requirement is proven. Documented experience helping people just like you solve the exact same problems you're facing. Their personal story is less important than their clients' stories. Which brings us to the final, most practical part of this checkpoint: how to actually verify their experience. You have to move beyond the slick marketing and become a fact-checker. First, scrutinize their testimonials and case studies. Don't just be impressed by dramatic before and after photos. While they can be motivating, they don't tell the whole story. A picture doesn't tell you if the person gained all the weight back 6 months later. It doesn't tell you if they used an unsustainable crash diet to get there. Look for the during. Look for detailed, written or video testimonials where clients talk about the process. A great testimonial sounds something like this. Before working with Sarah, I was a slave to my sugar cravings, especially in the afternoon. She didn't just tell me to stop eating sugar. She taught me how to balance my blood sugar with a protein-rich breakfast, which completely eliminated my 3 p.m. crash and cravings. I lost 40 pounds, but more importantly, my A1C went from pre-diabetic back to normal, and I no longer live in fear of food. See the difference? It's specific. It names the problem, sugar cravings, prediabetes, and the specific solution, blood sugar balance, protein-rich breakfast. It highlights a non-scale victory, a 1C improvement, and a psychological shift, no longer living in fear. Compare that to a generic, "Sarah is the best. I lost so much weight." 10 out of 10 would recommend. One is evidence, the other is just an opinion. Be skeptical of testimonials that lack any specific detail. Second, use your consultation call to dig for proof. Don't let them control the conversation. Come prepared with a list of experience vetting questions. Here are a few you can steal. Can you walk me through the journey of a client who had a similar starting point and similar goals to mine? What were their biggest non-scale victories? What were the top 2 or 3 obstacles that client faced? And what specific strategies did you implement to help them overcome those obstacles? This question is brilliant because it forces them to move beyond theory and give you a practical, real-world example of their problem-solving skills. What is your process for when a client isn't seeing results or their progress stalls for several weeks? A good coach will have a clear, systematic process for troubleshooting plateaus, involving looking at biofeedback, stress levels, sleep, dietary adherence, and more. A bad coach will just say, "They need to try harder." And a killer question: "Could you put me in touch with 1 or 2 former clients to talk about their experience?" A coach who is confident in their results and has great relationships with their clients will often be happy to do this. A coach who hesitates or refuses might have something to hide. Experience isn't just a number. It's a library of solved problems. Your goal is to find a coach whose library is filled with stories that sound just like yours. By focusing on relevant demographics, problem-specific expertise, and then rigorously verifying that experience through detailed testimonials and pointed questions, you move from hoping you found the right person to knowing you have. You're not just buying a plan, you're investing in a proven track record. You're hiring a specialist who has already navigated the exact maze you're lost in, and they're holding a map. This single step can be the difference between another failed attempt and a life-changing transformation. But even with the perfect experience, a coach can be a total disaster if their philosophy and methods don't align with what works for you long-term. And this right here is where most people get it wrong. They find a coach with 1,000 5-star reviews, a chiseled physique, and a massive social media following, but they forget to ask the single most important question: what do you actually believe about weight loss? You see, a coach's philosophy isn't just some fluffy, abstract concept. It is the architectural blueprint for your entire journey. It dictates every meal plan, every workout, and every piece of advice they will ever give you. And if their blueprint is designed for a completely different building, a completely different person, your results are destined to crumble. Think of it like this. Imagine you have a high-performance sports car, but you take it to a mechanic who specializes exclusively in heavy-duty diesel trucks. He's a great mechanic, highly skilled, with tons of happy customers. But his philosophy is all about torque, towing capacity, and rugged durability. He looks at your sleek, aerodynamic car and decides it needs a bigger engine block and off-road tires. He applies his truck-based methods to your sports car, and what happens? It's a disaster. It doesn't run right, it's inefficient, and it's completely ruined the thing that made it special. The mechanic wasn't bad. His philosophy was just a catastrophic mismatch for your specific needs. This is precisely what happens in the coaching world every single day. You are that unique high-performance vehicle. But many coaches are one-trick pony mechanics. They have one system, one diet, one way of doing things that worked for them or for a handful of clients, and they try to bolt that same system onto every single person who walks through their door. This is the one-size-fits-all trap, and it is the biggest red flag in the entire industry. If a potential coach's website or initial consultation is all about their proprietary method, their magic formula, their branded eating style that everyone must follow, you need to run in the other direction. A truly qualified coach doesn't have a single rigid philosophy. They have a deep, flexible, and evidence-based understanding of human physiology and psychology. Their core belief isn't in a specific diet, but in the principle of bioindividuality, the scientific fact that your body, your metabolism, your hormones, your genetics, and your life circumstances are utterly unique. Their job isn't to force you into their box. It's to build a box that fits you perfectly. This brings us to the great philosophical divide in weight loss coaching. Sustainability versus speed. The siren song of the quick fix is powerful. Lose 30 pounds in 30 days. Get your beach body in 2 weeks. These promises are tempting because they offer a fast solution to a long-term problem. And the coaches who push these methods often get dramatic, short-term results that look great in before and after photos. But what they don't show you is the after photo. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah was a busy marketing executive who, after years of putting her career first, wanted to finally lose the 40 pounds she'd gradually gained. She found a coach online with incredible testimonials. His philosophy was simple: extreme results through extreme discipline. He put her on a 1,200 calorie a day diet consisting of prepackaged shakes and one small meal of chicken and broccoli. The workouts were grueling, hour-long high-intensity sessions 6 days a week. And it worked. The weight melted off. In 6 weeks, she was down 25 pounds. She was exhausted, irritable, and constantly hungry, but the number on the scale was thrilling. But then life happened. A huge project at work demanded late nights. Her daughter got sick. The sheer willpower required to stick to such a restrictive plan began to crack. She had one cheat meal, which turned into a cheat day, which spiraled into a cheat week. The shame was overwhelming. She felt like a failure. Within 3 months, She had not only regained the 25 pounds but had added another 10 on top of it. The coach's philosophy was built for a sprint, but life is a marathon. The plan gave her zero tools to navigate stress, social events, or a single moment of imperfection. It didn't teach her how to cook, how to listen to her body's hunger cues, or how to build a healthy relationship with food. It just taught her how to suffer for a short period of time. Now, contrast that with a coach whose philosophy is rooted in sustainability. This coach would have started by asking Sarah about her lifestyle, her work schedule, her energy levels, and what food she genuinely enjoys. Instead of a restrictive diet, they might have focused on a single habit, like adding a source of protein to her breakfast to keep her full. Instead of 6 brutal workouts, they might have helped her find 3 forms of movement she actually liked. Maybe a dance class, a weekend hike, and 2 30-minute strength sessions she could do at home. The weight loss would have been slower, maybe 1 to 2 pounds a week. It wouldn't have been as dramatic for a 30-day transformation picture. But each step would have been building an unbreakable foundation. She would have learned how to make healthy choices at a restaurant, how to manage cravings without guilt, and how to get back on track after an off day without spiraling. A year later, Sarah wouldn't just be 40 pounds lighter. She would be a person who no longer needs a coach because the healthy habits would be an effortless, integrated part of who she is. So, when you're vetting a coach, you must dig deep into their methods. This is checklist item number 5. Scrutinize their philosophy and methodology. Ask them direct questions. First, let's talk nutrition. Ask them, what are the different nutritional strategies you use with clients? If their answer is just one thing, I'm a keto coach, I only do intermittent fasting, we use my company's meal replacement shakes, that's a huge red flag. A great coach is a toolkit, not a single hammer. They should be fluent in various approaches like macronutrient tracking, calorie counting, intuitive eating, and habit-based portion control. They should be able to explain the pros and cons of each, and most importantly, describe the process they use to determine which approach is right for you. They should be asking you questions. Have you tracked calories before? How did that feel? What's your relationship with food like? Do you prefer structure or flexibility? A coach who lectures is a bad coach. A coach who listens is a great one. And be especially wary of anyone who demonizes entire food groups. Unless you have a specific medical condition like celiac disease, carbohydrates are not your enemy. A philosophy based on extreme restriction is a philosophy based on eventual failure. Second, exercise. Ask them, how do you build a fitness plan for a client? Again, listen for personalization. Do they mention assessing your current fitness level, discussing your injury history, and asking what you actually enjoy doing? Or do they just talk about their signature workout program that everyone gets? The best exercise plan is the one you can stick with consistently, and you won't stick with something you hate or that gets you injured. A good coach knows the difference between pushing you to grow and pushing you off a cliff. Their goal isn't to make you puke in a bucket. It's to help you build strength, improve your health, and find joy in moving your body. They should be able to design a plan for a busy parent that involves 20-minute home workouts, or for a retiree with bad knees that focuses on low-impact strength training and water aerobics. Flexibility is the hallmark of a true professional. Finally, and this is the most critical piece of the puzzle, mindset and behavior change. The food and the exercise are the easy parts. The real challenge is changing the deep-seated habits and emotional patterns that led to weight gain in the first place. You must ask a potential coach, how do you address the mental and emotional side of weight loss? If they look at you with a blank stare or just say something like, we focus on discipline and staying motivated, they are not equipped to help you achieve lasting change. A world-class coach is also a behavioral coach. They should be able to talk to you about things like identifying your eating triggers. Do you eat when you're bored, stressed, or sad? They should have strategies to help you break the cycle of emotional eating. They should be focused on building your self-efficacy, your belief in your own ability to succeed. They should help you reframe your thinking from an all-or-nothing mindset to one of consistency and self-compassion. They use tools, not just talk. They might use food journaling to find patterns, or mindfulness exercises to help with cravings. They celebrate non-scale victories like having more energy, your clothes fitting better, or turning down a dessert without feeling deprived. Their philosophy is not about shaming you for slipping up. It's about empowering you with the tools to get back up, learn from the experience, and keep moving forward. This is the difference between a cheerleader and a coach. A cheerleader just yells, "You can do it." A coach shows you exactly how it's done, step by step, and helps you navigate the inevitable obstacles along the way. Your journey is a complex interplay of the physical and the psychological, and a coach who only focuses on one half of that equation is setting you up to fail. And setting you up to fail isn't just a turn of phrase. It's a business model. It's a calculated strategy used by a huge segment of the weight loss industry, and it preys on your deepest desire, the desire for certainty. This brings us to the next and possibly the most important item on our checklist, the seductive lie of the guaranteed result. I want you to be on high alert for this one because it's everywhere. It's plastered on Instagram ads with dramatic before and after photos. It's the headline of flashy websites promising to melt 30 pounds in 30 days guaranteed. It's the confident, charismatic pitch you'll hear from a coach who sounds like they have a magic wand instead of a coaching degree. And it is, without a doubt, the single biggest red flag you will ever encounter. Let me tell you about a client of mine. We'll call her Jennifer. When Jennifer first came to me, she was defeated. Not just frustrated with her weight, but deeply ashamed. She felt like a complete failure. And it wasn't because she hadn't tried. In fact, she had tried so hard. 6 months earlier, she'd signed up with a coach, a very popular, very slick online coach, who had sold her the dream. He guaranteed with absolute certainty that his 90-day transformation protocol would make her lose 40 pounds. The fee was high, but the guarantee made it feel like a safe investment. How could she lose? The first month was a whirlwind. The coach sent her a PDF. It was a brutally restrictive meal plan. Plain chicken breast, steamed broccoli, brown rice. Every meal, every day. No substitutions. No snacks. No off-plan foods. He also gave her a workout plan that was pure punishment. 2 hours of intense exercise 6 days a week. Jennifer was exhausted, she was hungry, and she was miserable. But she was also losing weight. The number on the scale was dropping fast, and every time she wanted to quit, she remembered the guarantee. The coach's voice echoed in her head. Trust the process. No excuses. Are you a winner or a quitter? She lost 15 pounds that first month. She was ecstatic. The program was working, but things were starting to fray at the edges. She couldn't go out to eat with her friends. She snapped at her kids because she was so irritable from hunger. Her hair was starting to feel thinner. She was obsessed with the scale, weighing herself 3 or 5 times a day. Her entire sense of self-worth was tied to that number. Then, in week 5, it happened. A plateau. The scale didn't move for 3 days straight. Panic set in. She messaged her coach, frantic. His reply was blunt. You must be cheating. You need to be more disciplined. Add 30 minutes of cardio and cut your rice portion in half. She did it. She pushed harder, ate less. The scale grudgingly dropped another pound, but the cost was immense. She felt weak, dizzy, and completely disconnected from her own body's signals. The breaking point came during her daughter's birthday party. There was cake, a beautiful chocolate cake that her daughter had been talking about for weeks. Jennifer had a small slice. Not a huge binge, just a single small slice of birthday cake. The guilt was instantaneous and overwhelming. The next morning, the scale was up 2 pounds, mostly water retention from the sugar and salt, a totally normal physiological response. But to Jennifer, it was proof of her failure. She had broken the protocol. She had voided the guarantee. When she told her coach, his response wasn't supportive. It was accusatory. Well, Jennifer, the program works if you work the program. You broke the rules, so you can't expect the guaranteed results. The shame was crushing. She quit the program that day, feeling like she had failed. And what happened next was tragically predictable. Deprived and demoralized, she swung in the opposite direction. She ate all the food she had been denied, not with pleasure, but with a frantic, desperate energy. Within 2 months, she had regained all the weight she had lost, plus an extra 10 pounds. Jennifer didn't fail the program. The program failed her. It was designed to fail her. That coach didn't sell her a weight loss plan. He sold her a fantasy, and when reality inevitably kicked in, he blamed her for it. This is the toxic cycle of the guaranteed results model. So let's break down the red flags from Jennifer's story, so you can spot them a mile away. First, the guarantee itself. No qualified, ethical coach can or will ever guarantee a specific weight loss result in a specific time frame. Period. Why? Because we are not machines. We are complex biological organisms influenced by a million variables. Stress, sleep, hormones, genetics, menstrual cycles, unexpected life events. A real coach knows this. They don't promise a specific outcome. They promise a process. They promise to be your partner, to provide you with the best evidence-based tools, to support you, and to help you adapt when life inevitably gets in the way. Anyone offering a money-back guarantee on your body's performance is a salesperson, not a coach. They're selling you a product, not a partnership. Second, the extreme and rigid nature of the plan. A one-size-fits-all, brutally restrictive meal plan handed out as a PDF is a massive red flag. It shows a complete lack of personalization. Did the coach ask Jennifer what food she liked? Did he ask about her work schedule, her family life, her cultural background, her medical history? No. He gave her the same cookie-cutter plan he gives to everyone. This approach ignores bio-individuality and, more importantly, it teaches you nothing about how to eat in the real world. The goal of good coaching isn't to follow a perfect plan for 90 days. It's to build the skills and habits that allow you to navigate food choices for the rest of your life, including birthday parties. Third, the no excuses, blame and shame language. This is a subtle but incredibly destructive tactic. It frames the journey as a battle of willpower. When you succeed, the coach takes the credit. When you struggle, you take the blame. A great coach operates from a place of curiosity, not judgment. If you go off-plan, their first question won't be "Why did you fail?" It will be "What happened? Let's learn from this." Was it emotional eating? Was it social pressure? Was the plan itself too restrictive and causing cravings? A setback isn't a moral failure. It's data. It's a clue that tells the coach and the client where the plan needs to be adjusted. A coach who uses shame as a motivational tool isn't a coach. They're a bully. So what does the green flag alternative sound like? What should you be listening for when you talk to a potential coach? Instead of, "I guarantee you'll lose 40 pounds in 90 days, you want to hear something like this. Based on a healthy, sustainable rate of fat loss, a goal of losing 1 to 2 pounds per week is realistic for most people. But we have to be clear. That's an average. There will be weeks you lose more, weeks you lose less, and weeks you stay the same. My job is to help you stay consistent through those fluctuations, understand why they're happening, and focus on the overall downward trend and the non-scale victories, like having more energy and your clothes fitting better." See the difference? One is a rigid promise. The other is a realistic, supportive partnership. Instead of being handed a restrictive PDF meal plan, you want to hear, "First, I want you to track what you're normally eating for a few days with no judgment. Then together we'll look at it and find opportunities. Where can we add some protein to keep you fuller? Where can we swap in a higher fiber carbohydrate? What are some healthy snacks you actually enjoy?" This is about building on what you already do, not tearing it all down and starting from a place of deprivation. This is a collaborative, skill-building approach, not a dictatorship. And finally, when you ask them, "What happens if I have a bad week or fall off the wagon?" you want to hear this. First of all, there is no wagon. This is your life, not a ride you can fall off of. You will have days that are not perfect, and that is 100% part of the process. When that happens, you'll reach out to me. We'll talk about it. We won't beat ourselves up. We'll get curious. We'll figure out what we can learn from it, and then we'll get right back to our routine with the very next meal. A single slice of cake doesn't undo weeks of progress, but letting that one slice turn into a week of shame and guilt can. My job is to help you break that cycle. This is the voice of a true coach. It's a voice of reason, compassion, and realism. It doesn't sell you a fantasy of a perfect, linear journey. It prepares you for the messy, beautiful, and ultimately successful reality of long-term change. So, when you're vetting a coach, listen carefully. Are they selling you a magic pill, a guaranteed product? Or are they offering to be your guide, your teacher, and your partner through a very human process? Your long-term success and your mental health depends on you choosing the latter. The promise of a quick fix is just a shortcut to a dead end. And that dead end is littered with broken promises, shattered confidence, and a metabolism that's more confused than a tourist in Times Square without a map. So, how do you spot these shortcuts before you take a single step down that path? You need a field guide. A guide to the red flags, the warning signs that scream, "Turn back now." This is your field guide. Let's arm you with the knowledge to see through the marketing smoke and mirrors. First on our list, and arguably the most seductive and dangerous red flag of them all, is the guarantee. The coach who looks you dead in the eye, or more likely, types in a flashy font on their website, "I guarantee you will lose 30 pounds in 60 days. Sounds amazing. It sounds like certainty in a world of uncertainty. But it is the single biggest lie in the health and fitness industry. Let me be crystal clear. No qualified, ethical, or scientifically literate coach can or will ever guarantee a specific outcome. Why? Because they aren't working with a machine. They're working with a human being. Your body is not a simple equation. It's a complex, dynamic ecosystem influenced by genetics, hormones, stress levels, sleep quality, past dieting history, and 1,000 other variables. A coach who guarantees a result is either profoundly ignorant of human physiology, or they are knowingly lying to you to get your money. A great coach guarantees their process. They guarantee their commitment to you. They guarantee they will show up, listen, provide evidence-based guidance, and support you every step of the way. They guarantee their effort, not your outcome. The guarantee of a specific number on the scale is the hallmark of a salesman, not a coach. Think about it this way. A doctor can't guarantee a surgery will be 100% successful. A financial advisor can't guarantee a stock will go up. Anyone who guarantees an outcome they don't have absolute control over is selling you a fantasy. Let me tell you about a woman I once spoke to. We'll call her Jennifer. She signed up with a coach who guaranteed she'd lose 25 pounds before her sister's wedding, which was just 10 weeks away. The coach gave her a 1,200-calorie meal plan consisting of chicken breast, broccoli, and brown rice, and a brutal 7-day-a-week workout plan. And for a while it worked. The scale dropped, but Jennifer was miserable. She was exhausted, irritable, and obsessed with food. She had nightmares about eating a cookie. 2 weeks before the wedding, she hit her goal. She felt weak and frail, but the number was there. The coach said, "See? I delivered." The day after the wedding, deprived and emotionally spent, Jennifer binged. And she didn't stop. Within 2 months, she had regained all 25 pounds, plus an extra 10. When she reached out to the coach, he was gone. He had delivered on his guarantee, and his job was done. He hadn't taught her anything about sustainable habits, emotional eating, or how to navigate real life. He just rented her a result that cost her her confidence and left her in a worse place than where she started. That is the true price of a guarantee. The second giant, flashing red flag, is the promotion of extreme restriction. This often comes in the form of a long list of bad foods you can never ever eat. Bread, poison, fruit, too much sugar, dairy, inflammatory. Suddenly, your entire grocery store becomes a minefield. This coach is creating a prison of food rules for you. They are instilling fear, not fostering freedom. This black and white thinking, this good food, bad food mentality, is the foundation of a disordered relationship with eating. It triggers cycles of restriction and binging. You follow the rules perfectly for a week, then you slip up, eat a bad food, and feel like a complete failure. So you think, well, I've already blown it. And you proceed to eat every bad thing in your house, promising to start over on Monday. A qualified coach will never hand you a list of forbidden foods. Instead, they will teach you the principles of nutrition. They'll talk about nutrient density, portion sizes, and blood sugar balance. They'll help you understand that a donut isn't bad. It's just less nutrient dense than a bowl of oatmeal. They empower you to make conscious choices, not to live in fear. They help you build a diet that includes your favorite foods in a way that aligns with your goals. Their goal is to make you the expert on your own body so you don't need them forever. The bad food list coach wants to keep you dependent on their rules, forever trapped in their system. This leads directly into our third red flag, the one-size-fits-all meal plan. You pay your money and within minutes a PDF lands in your inbox. It's a 7-day meal plan, telling you exactly what to eat for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. It looks professional. It looks simple. But it's a trap. Ask yourself, did this coach ask me what foods I actually like? Did they ask about my food allergies or intolerances? Did they ask what my budget is for groceries? Did they ask how much time I have to cook? Or if I'm cooking for a family of picky eaters? Did they ask about my cultural food traditions? If the answer is no, then that meal plan is not for you. It's a generic document they send to every single client. It's the definition of lazy, ineffective coaching. It's a product, not a service. True coaching is a collaborative process. A great coach works with you to build a nutritional strategy that fits into your actual life. They might provide templates like build your breakfast with 1 source of protein, 1 source of fiber, and 1 healthy fat. They give you examples and recipes, but they teach you the underlying principles so you can go to the grocery store and build your own healthy meals. They are teaching you to fish, not just handing you a pre-cooked, flavorless fish fillet that you probably don't even like. A rigid meal plan sets you up for failure because life is not rigid. The moment you have a business lunch, a kid's birthday party, or a vacation, the plan shatters, and you're left with no skills to navigate the situation. Finally, the fourth and perhaps most subtle red flag is a coach who focuses exclusively on diet and exercise. They only ask you what you ate and if you did your workout. They are treating you like a robot, a simple calorie-burning machine. But you are a human being. Your ability to lose weight and keep it off is profoundly impacted by your stress levels, your sleep quality, and your underlying mindset. The stress hormone cortisol can literally cause your body to store more fat, especially around your midsection. A lack of sleep disrupts the hormones that regulate hunger and fullness, making you crave high-calorie, low-nutrient foods. Your mindset, your beliefs about yourself, your all-or-nothing thinking, your habit of using food to cope with emotions, is the operating system that runs the whole show. A coach who isn't asking you about your sleep, your stress management techniques, and your relationship with food is not a coach. They're just a rep counter and a food logger. They are ignoring the very foundation upon which sustainable health is built. A truly world-class coach is a holistic practitioner. They understand that the body is a system. They know that a stressful job or a bad night's sleep can have just as much impact on your results as a missed workout. They work on the whole person, not just the number on the scale. They help you build resilience, not just muscle. They know that the work you do on your mindset is infinitely more important than any single meal or workout. Avoiding these 4 red flags, the guarantee, the extreme restriction, the cookie-cutter plan, and the myopic focus on just food and fitness, will save you from 90% of the predatory, ineffective coaching out there. It's the defensive part of your strategy, but now we need to go on offense. It's not enough to know what to run away from. You need to know what to run towards. What do the best coaches in the world actually do? What are the green flags, the surefire signs that you've found a true expert who can genuinely change your life? That's where we're going next. So let's build our checklist. The green flag checklist. The non-negotiable qualities of a coach who is worth your time, your money, and your trust. The very first green flag, and arguably the most important, is this: they treat your initial consultation like a deep dive diagnosis, not a sales pitch. A great coach is a great detective. Before they ever dream of giving you a single piece of advice, they need to understand the crime scene of your past struggles. They should be asking you a relentless number of questions. Not just, how much weight do you want to lose? That's amateur hour. A pro will ask, what have you tried before? What worked? For how long? And more importantly, why did you stop? What was the specific point of failure? Was it a vacation? A stressful project at work? The holidays? They're looking for patterns. They'll ask about your relationship with food. Do you ever eat when you're not hungry? Do you eat out of boredom, stress, or sadness? Do you feel guilt after eating certain foods? They're not judging. They're collecting data. They'll want to know about your environment. Who does the grocery shopping in your house? Who does the cooking? What does your partner or family eat? Do you have kids? What are their schedules like? What's in your pantry right now? They'll ask about your job. Do you sit at a desk all day? Do you travel for work? Are there free donuts in the break room every Friday? They need to understand the battlefield before they can draw up a battle plan. They'll ask about your sleep. How many hours do you get? Is it quality sleep? They'll ask about your stress levels. What are your biggest stressors? How do you manage them? They will ask about your energy levels throughout the day. When do you feel great? When do you crash? They need to know everything. A great coach's intake process should feel less like signing up for a gym and more like being interviewed for a biography. If a coach gives you a plan or a price before they understand your unique life down to the granular details, they're not a coach. They're a salesperson selling a generic template. Run. A true professional knows that the solution is not in their pre-made plan. It's hidden in the details of your life story. Their first job is to listen, and listen deeply. The second massive green flag. Their primary goal is to make themselves obsolete. Think about that. A great coach's mission is to teach you so effectively that you eventually don't need them anymore. They are a teacher, not a dictator. A dictator just hands you a meal plan and says, eat this. Don't ask questions. A teacher explains the why behind every single recommendation. If they suggest you eat more protein, they don't just say, hit 150 grams of protein. They explain why. They'll say, we're increasing your protein because it's the most satiating macronutrient, meaning it will keep you feeling fuller for longer, which will help manage cravings. It also has a higher thermic effect of food, meaning your body burns more calories just digesting it. And critically, it will help you preserve precious muscle mass as you lose fat, which is the key to not just losing weight, but improving your body composition and keeping your metabolism strong. See the difference? One is a command, the other is an education. One creates dependency, the other creates independence. A great coach wants to empower you with knowledge. They'll teach you how to read a nutrition label, how to build a balanced plate at a restaurant, how to navigate a social event without derailing your progress, how to listen to your body's hunger and fullness cues. Their success isn't measured by how long you pay them. It's measured by your ability to fly on your own when the time is right. If a coach seems cagey about their methods or uses a lot of jargon without explaining it, they might be trying to create a black box of mystery to keep you reliant on them. A true expert revels in sharing their knowledge. They want you to understand the game so you can eventually become your own coach. This leads directly to the third green flag. They obsess over behaviors, not just outcomes. Any coach can tell you to lose 2 pounds a week. That's an outcome. It's a result. But you don't have direct control over what the scale says on any given Friday morning. Water weight, salt intake, stress, a bad night's sleep. A dozen things can affect that number. Obsessing over it is a recipe for psychological torture. A brilliant coach knows the scale is a lagging indicator. The real magic, the thing you can control, is in the daily behaviors. They are the leading indicators. So, a great coach will help you build your plan around process goals, around actions. Instead of lose 2 pounds, the goal becomes eat a source of protein with every meal. Instead of get to 180 pounds, the goal becomes go for a 20-minute walk every day after lunch. Or get 7 hours of sleep 5 nights this week. Or drink 100 ounces of water daily. These are things you can win at every single day. They are binary. You either did it or you didn't. And by stacking these small daily wins, the outcome, the weight loss, becomes an inevitable byproduct. Just happens. A great coach helps you fall in love with the process. They celebrate the consistency of your actions far more than the number on the scale. They understand that sustainable transformation is built brick by brick, habit by habit. If your conversations with a potential coach are only about the end goal weight and how fast you can get there, that's a red flag. A green flag is when they immediately start brainstorming with you about the 1 or 2 simple, powerful behaviors you could start implementing tonight. Fourth, and this is a big one, listen to their language. A great coach speaks the language of sustainability and abundance, not restriction and short-term fixes. They will never use phrases like 12-week shred, bikini body challenge, or detox. That's the language of temporary, all-or-nothing extremism. It implies there's an end date, after which you go back to your old ways. A great coach talks about building a forever plan. They use words like integrate, not eliminate. They'll talk about adding things to your diet, like more protein, more vegetables, more water, before they ever talk about taking away. They frame it as a journey of skill building, not a punishment of deprivation. They'll help you find a way to include your favorite foods, like pizza or ice cream, in a way that's aligned with your goals. They understand that a plan you can't see yourself following, in some form, a year from now is a plan that is doomed to fail. Their entire philosophy is built on realism. They know you're a human being who lives in the real world. A world with birthdays, holidays, and bad days. Their plan won't shatter the first time you have a slice of cake. Instead, they'll have taught you the skills to enjoy it, own the decision, and get right back on track with your very next meal. There's no guilt, no shame, just strategy. So listen carefully. Is their language about a quick, painful sprint? Or is it about developing a sane, enjoyable, and lifelong approach to health? One is a diet. The other is a transformation. Finally, the fifth green flag. They have a 360-degree view of your health. They understand that your body isn't a machine where you just adjust the calories in and calories out dials. You are a complex, organic system of systems. A great coach is a systems thinker. They know that your ability to stick to a nutrition plan is directly impacted by your sleep quality. They know that your motivation to exercise is crushed by chronic, unmanaged stress. They know that your social circle can either be a powerful support system or a constant source of sabotage. They see the whole picture. They're as much a sleep coach and a stress management coach as they are a nutrition and fitness coach. They'll help you strategize a better bedtime routine. They'll suggest mindfulness practices or ways to delegate tasks to lower your stress. They'll help you script out conversations with friends or family who aren't supportive of your new lifestyle. They connect the dots. A mediocre coach sees a client who isn't losing weight and says, "You need to eat less and move more." A great coach sees the same client and asks, "How have you been sleeping? How are things at work? What's your stress level on a scale of 1 to 10? Because they know that the root of the problem often isn't the food. The food is just a symptom. The problem might be that you're using food to cope with exhaustion from only getting 5 hours of sleep a night. A great coach helps you solve the real problem. They are a true health coach, not just a weight loss rep. So there you have it. The first 5 critical green flags. A detective who does a deep diagnosis. A teacher who makes themselves obsolete. A behavioral scientist who focuses on process. A strategist who speaks the language of sustainability. And a systems thinker who sees the whole you. Finding a coach who embodies these qualities is like finding a key that fits a lock you've been struggling with for years. Changes everything. So how do you find that key? How do you sift through the noise, the flashy Instagram posts, and the sea of self-proclaimed gurus to find the one person who can genuinely guide you? You do it by stopping the search for a savior and starting the process of hiring a professional. You become the CEO of your own health journey, and you conduct an interview. This is your checklist, your non-negotiable guide to vetting a potential coach. Think of it as a series of gates. A candidate must pass through every single one to even be considered for the most important job in the world, partnering with you on your health. Gate number 1, the paper trail. Before you ever speak to a coach, you do some reconnaissance. And I'm not just talking about their website's About Me page. I'm talking about their credentials. In the United States, the fitness and nutrition space can feel like the Wild West. Anyone can call themselves a nutritionist or a health coach. So you need to look for the gold standard. For fitness, this means a certification from an NCCA-accredited organization. Think NASM. This is the difference between someone who completed a 6-week online course and someone who has a foundational understanding of human anatomy, physiology, and biomechanics. For nutrition, the absolute highest level of qualification is a registered dietitian or RD. These professionals have extensive university education, have completed supervised practice, and have passed a national exam. They are qualified to give medical nutrition therapy for conditions like diabetes or POS. A certified nutrition coach from a reputable organization is also a great option, but you need to understand the difference. They can provide guidance on healthy eating for the general population, but they cannot prescribe diets to treat medical conditions. Be wary of anyone with a vague nutritionist certificate from an unknown online school. It's your health. Demand a professional who has invested in a real science-backed education. While you're on their website, look at their testimonials. But don't just look at the dramatic before and after pictures. Those only tell you about an outcome, not the process. Read the words. Are clients talking about how they feel? Are they saying things like, I finally have a healthy relationship with food? Or, I have more energy than I've had in years? Or, I learned how to handle stressful situations without turning to comfort eating? Those are testimonials of deep, lasting change. A 50-pound weight loss is amazing, but a testimonial that talks about reclaiming their life? That's the sign of a true coach, not just a rep counter. Gate number 2, the consultation call. This is your interview. Most great coaches offer a free introductory call. This is not a sales pitch. It is a mutual discovery session, and you need to go in with your questions ready. Here are the questions you must ask. First, based on what I've told you about my history and goals, can you describe your initial approach with a client like me? This question does 2 things. It forces them to prove they were actually listening to you, and it reveals their methodology. A great coach will talk about a comprehensive assessment, understanding your lifestyle, your sleep, your stress, your schedule. They'll talk about starting with small, manageable habits. A bad coach will immediately jump to a specific diet or workout plan. They'll say, oh yeah, for you it's simple. We'll do low carb and hit 4 times a week. They're prescribing before they've diagnosed. That's a massive red flag. Second question, how do you measure progress? If their only answer is the number on the scale, the interview is over. A world-class coach will talk about a whole spectrum of progress metrics. They'll call them non-scale victories. They'll ask about your energy levels, your sleep quality, how your clothes fit, your mood, your biofeedback. Are you less bloated? Are you getting stronger in the gym? Are you recovering faster? They understand that progress is not a straight line down on a weight chart. It's a mosaic of 100 tiny improvements that add up to a transformed life. Third, and this one is crucial, what happens when I have a bad week? When I fall off track or lose motivation? Listen carefully to their answer. This question reveals the core of their coaching philosophy. A coach stuck in the old diet culture mindset will talk about discipline, getting back on the horse, or making up for it. They'll use language that subtly introduces shame. A great coach, a systems thinker, will respond with one word: curiosity. They'll They'll say, "We get curious. We don't judge. We look at it as data. What happened that week? Was stress high? Did you sleep poorly? Was your schedule overwhelming?" We treat it as a learning opportunity to make the system stronger, not as a personal failure. That is the compassionate, strategic approach that creates permanent change. Fourth question: what are your expectations of me as a client? This flips the script. It shows you're looking for a partnership, not a dictator. A great coach will love this question. They'll talk about the importance of open and honest communication, of showing up to sessions, of being willing to try new things, and of providing feedback on what is and isn't working. They see you as an active participant. A poor coach might be thrown off by this. They might give a generic answer about following the plan. They see you as a passive recipient of their expertise, not a collaborator. Gate number 3. The red flag gauntlet. This is the final check for signs of danger. If a potential coach says any of the following things, you thank them for their time, you hang up the phone, and you never look back. Red flag 1. They guarantee results. "I guarantee you'll lose 20 pounds in 6 weeks. This is not only unethical, it's impossible. There are no guarantees in the human body. A true professional coaches the process and lets the outcome take care of itself. They sell you on their expertise and their system, not on a fantasy number. Red flag 2. They push a specific line of supplements. If their first solution is for you to buy their branded fat burner, protein powder, or detox tea, they are not a coach. They are a salesperson in a coach's costume. A real coach's primary tools are education, behavior change, and support, not a bottle of pills. Red flag 3. They use shame-based or militaristic language. No excuses. No days off. Pain is weakness leaving the body. This is a sign of an emotionally unintelligent and outdated approach. This kind of motivation might work for a week, but it creates a toxic relationship with your body and exercise that will eventually lead to burnout and rebellion. You are looking for a coach who builds you up, not one who breaks you down. Red flag 4. They give you a generic one-size-fits-all meal plan on day 1. If you get a PDF of 6 meals to eat every single day without a deep conversation about your food preferences, your cooking skills, your budget, or your culture, you have found a lazy coach. This is the opposite of a personalized, systems-based approach. It's a recipe for failure and frustration. And the final gate, gate number 4. The gut check. After you've checked the credentials, aced the interview, and navigated the red flags, you have to ask yourself one last question. How did this person make me feel? Did I feel heard? Did I feel seen and respected? Was I talking to a human being who demonstrated empathy? Or did it feel like I was talking to a walking textbook? You're going to be sharing personal, vulnerable information with this person. You have to trust them. You have to feel safe. All the certifications in the world can't replace a genuine human connection. If your gut is telling you something is off, listen to it. It's a better judge of character than any resume. Passing through these 4 gates, the paper trail, the consultation call, the red flag gauntlet, and the gut check, is how you move from hoping you'll find a good coach to systematically ensuring it. This process removes the guesswork and the gamble. It puts the power squarely back where it belongs, in your hands. It transforms you from a passive passenger into the driver of your own journey. And once you've found that person, that true partner who clears every one of these hurdles, the real work and the real magic can finally begin. So let's talk about that real work and that real magic. Because finding the coach isn't the finish line. It's the starting gun. The magic isn't some spell they cast on you. It's the alchemy that happens when your commitment meets their expertise. It's the moment you stop seeing your body as a problem to be solved and start seeing it as a project to be built, with a master architect by your side. The work is no longer the frustrating, lonely slog through misinformation. It becomes focused, intentional action. Every meal, every workout, every choice is now a brick laid with purpose, part of a blueprint you both understand and believe in. The magic is in the consistency that finally feels possible. It's in the accountability that doesn't feel like judgment, but like support. It's the feeling of waking up and knowing exactly what you need to do, and more importantly, why you're doing it. This partnership is where the transformation you've been chasing finally gets the fuel it needs to ignite. And you are now uniquely equipped to build that partnership because you didn't just stumble upon it. You engineered it. You went on a quest armed with a checklist that cut through the noise. You started with the non-negotiables, the credentials, the certifications, the proof that this person had invested in their knowledge, not just their marketing. You demanded a foundation of science, not a house of cards built on fads and buzzwords. Then, you looked for the proof in the real world, the experience, the specializations, the track record that showed they hadn't just read the book, they had successfully navigated the territory with people just like you. You learned to spot the difference between a one-size-fits-all template and a truly bespoke methodology, understanding that your body, your life, and your history demand a unique key, not a master lock that fits no one perfectly. You dissected their communication style, listening for empathy, for genuine curiosity, for the ability to make you feel heard and understood, not just processed. You became a detective, searching for transparency in their pricing, their promises, and their philosophy, learning to recognize the bright red flags of over-the-top guarantees and high-pressure sales tactics. You learned how to read between the lines of testimonials, looking for authentic stories of struggle and triumph, not just polished before and after photos. And finally, you put it all to the ultimate test in the consultation, that critical interview where you weren't just a potential client, but a discerning hiring manager, assessing their ability to connect, to strategize, and to inspire confidence. You didn't just look for a coach, you looked for an educator, a mentor, someone whose ultimate goal was to make themselves obsolete by empowering you with the knowledge and skills to navigate your health for the rest of your life. You built this checklist piece by piece to find your partner in this journey. But here is the final crucial piece of wisdom I can offer you. Even with the perfect coach vetted by the most rigorous checklist, there is one final trap that causes more people to fail than anything else. It's subtle, it's seductive, and it can unravel everything. The trap is this: believing the coach is here to save you. It's the act of handing over 100% of the responsibility, sitting back in the passenger seat and saying, "Okay, you drive. Wake me up when we get there." This is the single biggest mistake you can make. A great coach is not a savior. They are a guide. A great coach is not a magician. They are a strategist. They can draw the most brilliant map in the world, they can point out the pitfalls, they can show you the shortcuts, and they can cheer you on from base camp. But they cannot climb the mountain for you. You still have to put on the boots. You still have to take the steps. You still have to carry your own pack. The moment you outsource your own agency, the partnership dissolves. It becomes a transaction, and sustainable change is never transactional. It's transformational. And transformation requires your active, daily participation. It means shifting your mindset from, "What is my coach going to do for me this week?" to, "How can I best leverage my coach's expertise to help myself this week?" It's a profound difference. It means preparing for your check-ins, coming with questions, being brutally honest about your struggles. It means seeing a slip-up not as a failure you need to hide, but as a data point you need to analyze together. The best client-coach relationships are not built on a foundation of perfect adherence. They are forged in the fires of real life, the stressful weeks at work, the holidays, the moments of temptation. That's where the real coaching happens. But it can only happen if you show up, ready to be coached, ready to be vulnerable, and ready to do the work. So, as you embark on this next phase, I want you to consider what it means to be a great client. Because your success is as much about what you bring to the table as it is about the coach you've chosen. First, bring honesty. Radical honesty. If you ate the pizza, say you ate the pizza. Don't say you had a salad. The coach can't help you navigate a map you've lied about. Your struggles are not a reflection of your character. They are simply challenges to be solved, and your coach is a professional problem solver. Give them the real problem. Second, bring commitment. Not perfection, but commitment. Commitment means showing up for your check-ins. It means doing your best to follow the plan, even when motivation wanes. It means remembering your why on the days it feels impossible. Third, bring an open mind. You are hiring this person for their expertise, which means they will likely ask you to do things that are outside your comfort zone or that challenge your old beliefs about weight loss. Trust the process. Be willing to experiment. Be coachable. And finally, bring your voice. Communicate. If something isn't working, a food you hate, an exercise that causes pain, a schedule that's unsustainable, speak up. This is a collaboration. Your feedback is the most valuable tool your coach has to refine your plan and ensure it works for you. When you combine a world-class coach with a world-class client, the return on your investment is almost immeasurable. And yes, let's talk about it as an investment, not an expense. An expense is a cost that's gone forever. An investment provides a return. People balk at the cost of coaching, but they rarely calculate the crushing price of inaction. The cost of fad diets that drain your bank account and your willpower. The cost of miracle supplements and useless gym memberships. The future cost of medical bills for preventable, lifestyle-related conditions. the emotional cost of living with low energy, poor sleep, and a constant nagging feeling of being uncomfortable in your own skin. That is the real price. Now, compare that to the ROI of great coaching. You are investing in a lifetime of knowledge. You are learning the fundamental principles of nutrition and exercise as they apply to your body. This is an education you will carry with you forever. You are investing in efficiency, saving yourself years or even decades of frustrating trial and error. You are buying back time. You are investing in your future health, creating a body that is more resilient, more energetic, and more capable of carrying you through a long and vibrant life. And perhaps most importantly, you are investing in your own self-worth. The confidence that comes from keeping promises to yourself, from feeling strong and capable, from looking in the mirror and feeling pride instead of disappointment, that is priceless. It bleeds into every other area of your life. Your career, your relationships, your ability to show up in the world as the person you were always meant to be. You started this journey looking for a guide, for a checklist, for a way to find a qualified weight loss coach in America. But what you've really been doing is building a case for yourself. You have been gathering the tools, the knowledge, and the mindset to finally take command of your own health. This checklist isn't just a piece of paper. It's a declaration. It's a statement that you are done with quick fixes. You are done with being a passive consumer of a broken industry. You are ready to become an active architect of your own well-being. The power was never in the coach's hands. It was always in yours. The checklist was just the key to help you unlock it. So take it, use it, find that incredible partner who will champion your journey. But never forget who is in the driver's seat. The road ahead may be challenging, but for the first time you have a reliable map, a powerful engine, and a clear destination. Your journey doesn't start when you find the coach. Starts now.